Hello there, what is going on everyone? Today we are going to be building a Separatist fleet using Ryan Kingston's fleet builder for Star Wars Armada, and this is going to be a balanced all-comers type of fleet, maybe a good intro fleet or maybe a good intermediate fleet for somebody looking to get into Separatists and not wanting to lean too hard into one of their kind of metas. It's going to be a little bit good at a lot of different things, and it does have some things it's trying to do as well. Using Ryan Kingston's fleet builder, I'll put a link to that in the video description below, and it's a really fantastic builder. I'm a big fan of this particular builder. It's if you've been over to armada.ryankingston.com, it works well on phones and on desktop. It's just really optimized, has great full images of, and of course revamped images that have all of the data, kind of like the old style cards used to have. Really great fleet builder, and I'm a big fan of it. You can add your ships, add your squadrons, add your objectives. If you donate, you can save as well as print and format and everything. It's my go-to list builder, so you should definitely check that out. Also, make sure you subscribe, like the video, share the video, all that good stuff. If you're interested in Star Wars Armada, we have a great family-friendly Discord. Links for all of that stuff are in the video description below. Also, head over to Crabbok.com and get yourself some free Armada content. We've got the AI system if you want to play against yourself. It's a great way to test builds out, as well as some other expansions, some homebrew content that I have released for free for everybody for Star Wars Armada. So you can head over to Crabbok.com and check all of that out. With all of that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this particular build. I want to do a couple of different things with this one. First off, with a lot of my builds, I like to do one of two things. I like to go like all of one ship to kind of really min-max sometimes. And then sometimes I want to do no duplicates, and that's, to have more of a thematic, pretty battle. And since I want this one to be kind of newcomer friendly, I'm going to do several different ships. Maybe not newcomer as far as the price tag, because you'd have to buy multiple different ships here, but there's going to be a little bit of that. So this one will use the Providence carrier as the flagship. We are going to put a hard sell battle refit in there. We are going to put a munificent comms frigate in there. And we're going to put one of the new Rapid Reinforcements Gazanti cruisers in there. These guys are really cool. Of course, this isn't an actual expansion that you can buy for Separatists. You have to use the Imperial Gazanti, but you use this card for it. So you're still using the cardboard base that's printed on the Imperial Gazanti. And this was a really cool thing that Atomic Mass Games did. We're hoping to see more rapid reinforcements type, basically digital and digital cards and new ways to play with the miniatures we already have. A lot of players will maybe have played Rebels and Empire already and may already have one of these, so that's another thing that makes it possibly user-friendly, because the Gazantis, a lot of people had them already before the Clone Wars came out. So if you're like maybe a new Clone Wars player, you might just need the Hard Sell and the Munificent, and then the Providence, and then probably a Squadron pack, because we are going to add some Squadrons into this build as well. So let me go ahead and I'm going to add the Squadrons up first, and then I'll talk about the upgrades and everything else that this list is trying to do. We are going to do just a small level of Squadrons, not too many. I'm not a big fan of massing Squadrons, not that often, especially for an intermediate kind of build. But I'm going to run 2 Vulture droids to have a little bit of flak, and then I'm going to run 2 named as well. I'm going to run General Grievous, who I was talking about recently, how I'd almost never run General Grievous as a squadron, and it got me thinking, you know what, let's go ahead and run General Grievous, because I won't run him as my commander. He works as a fantastic commander if you have a lot of squadrons to refresh defense tokens, but in this case, since I'm not going to run Grievous as my commander, this is an opportunity to potentially run him, and I'm hoping to make him work really, really well in this build. I'm also going to run DIS-T81. The Tri-Fighter is just a really well-rounded, really well-rounded squadron. It's going to work well into some of the objectives that we work on with this one. And of course, it's got Counter 2, Snipe 3, Can't Be Obstructed. It's got the AI Anti-Squadron. It's a Scatter Ace and Swarm. Just a really nice squadron. there as well. So that's only going to be 55 points of squadrons, not too much, just a kind of a mid-level. So basically 4 ships and 4 squadrons. I feel like that's kind of balanced for the foundation of the list. And then I'm going to build out the flagship first, and then we'll kind of work on what we're trying to do. So let me start with my commander, who is going to go on the Providence carrier. That's going to be my flagship, and I'm going to use Kraken. Kraken's just a really good overall solid commander who does great stuff. I think the 2 most popular commanders when I'm building lists right now, or the lists that I'm seeing, tends to be General Grievous and then TF-1726. They're probably the 2 most popular. Maybe in third place, a very, very close third, is Kraken. Kraken's also very popular. I feel like Trench Dooku and Martuk maybe in the bottom half, so maybe I'll focus on them in the future. But Kraken's a pretty solid, works with a lot of different lists, and you just have to have. He works better if you have multiple ships, and allows you some dice changing. But I also wanted him to be able to work well with General Grievous, and so one of the things that I'm going to do on this Providence carrier is I am going to give it the ion cannon upgrade of the Overload Pulse. That's not how Overload Pulse works. So Overload Pulse here is a critical effect that says exhausts all of the defender's defense tokens. Now, this is just a great upgrade for a number of reasons. However, it is something that you don't necessarily want going first all the time, and so you're probably thinking, why do I have it on the Providence carrier? Because usually you have this on another ship that can shoot early and make way for the big ship. And that, while that makes sense, the Providence carrier in this case is going to be more of a close range ship. So the idea here is that I'm going to also put another upgrade to make this work a little bit better. I'm going to put quad battery turrets. Quad battery turrets. This is a ship that can afford to go slow, get extra blue dice at long range. Now all of a sudden that what would have only been 2 red turns into 2 red and a blue, or maybe 1 red and a blue if it's obstructed. And then I can use Kraken to trigger that critical. And now all of a sudden I've got an Overload Pulse at long range to soften up all the blows for my hard sell and my munificent, and then also squadrons like General Grievous. And now that all works together. I certainly could have tried to do something like that on the Munificent, but the problem is the Munificent doesn't, it only has blue dice in the front arc, and if they're going slow, I might not be able to shoot the side arc. So it was a little bit risky to do it on the Munificent. And it's a little bit risky to do it on the Gazanti, because the Gazanti doesn't have any way to get those blue dice at long range. So at the end of the day, I had to make the tough choice of saying, all right, well, I guess the Providence is going to have the option to do that here, which will mean they'll still be able to, like, if I end up at close range with the Providence, they're still going to be able to brace and do all that other stuff, and then Overload Pulse will kick in afterwards. But I think it's a good problem to have, because it means I'm getting close range shots, and with criticals in there, and so it's still nice and fun. Now, with all of this, I'm going to keep adding more upgrades to this. I'm going to give this guy the Invincible title. I had thought about Lucid Voice, but I don't want to do that because I have used my Turbo Laser for quad battery turrets, and that's not going to really work with a ship that really wants to salvo. And I think Lucid Voice works a little bit better with like salvo-specific upgrades, a very, very stacked way to get like rerolls on your salvos and all that other stuff, and I really don't have much of that on this build. So I like Invincible for a ship that wants to take the forefront. I'm going to have most of my points on this ship, and so an extra defensive retrofit is going to help. So I'm going to go ahead and do the defensive retrofits. We are going to, of course, do electronic countermeasures, a great upgrade to have. And then I'm going to also add thermal shields. This is just a fun one. Although we can also really honestly go with reinforced blast doors. It's a very cool option. But this gives us options in case we have, we don't get our tokens to ready electronic countermeasures. I can wait a turn. I can kind of have a little flexibility on what I want to use for this. Like, oh, well, you know what? Maybe this first shot I'll just use thermal shields, and then maybe I'll use ECM in the future. It just gives you extra security against maybe like getting double teamed. And since it's a black dice ship, it's probably going to want to get double teamed. If you are trying to save some more points, you can downgrade thermal shields to reinforced blast doors. Well, no, actually they're the same points. never mind. But yeah, if you were looking for maybe a different way of doing it, I don't know why I was thinking thermal shields was more expensive than I think reinforced blast doors used to be cheaper, but got changed in 1.0 or rather 1.5. So kind of doubling down on that. I know some people are going to say, wait, they're both using the brace and you only have the one brace, and I get that, but we're probably going to exhaust our brace before we get to like the close rounds of shooting, and there's going to be probably times where we want to use both of them or won't have the token to ready ECM. And that's the idea here. We're going to also go with Takei's as our officer. This is a case where we may be navving quite a bit. I'm going to want to try to get in there fast, turn around. Again, we need nav if we're trying to go speed 3 and get into position, but we also need nav to slow down a lot and then have our maneuverability if we go to speed 2 or slowing down to speed 1. Takei's is going to probably say, hey, we can just nav the whole game, but still get all the tokens that we want. So if we do need engineering tokens for ECM, we can do that. Or if we want to use engineering tokens just to get shields back or move shields around, we can do that as well. So we're going to be able to do a whole lot of fun stuff with that one. And I think that's about it for the upgrades on this one. Let's go ahead and move down a little bit. So the other guys, these are my shooters. These are the guys that are going to be trying to take advantage of the overload pulse. Also, the second shot from Providence will also be trying to take advantage. So when we can double arc, maybe the front shot does get the overload pulse. We still have a blue die everywhere also on Providence, which is one of the reasons we went with that. We're going to go with the hard sell next. The hard sell is going to be kind of straightforward. We're going to give this guy some rerolls. We have the linked turbo laser in there. That's also going to work well for anti-squadron. We don't need rerolls quite so much because we do have Kraken, but having rerolls and the ability to set a die gives us the ability to fish for the double if we want to do that, or opt to just use it as a squadron attack, which is very cool. Plus, it means if we do happen to lose our flagship, we're not completely dead in the water either. For the Munificent, I'm going to go with the same thing. I'm also going to run linked turbo laser towers on the Munificent. It's exceptionally good on this one, not only because it's got red dice everywhere in its regular ship armament, but it's also got red dice in the squadron armament. So we're going to be really having a good time. It's probably the best upgrade in the game, and this is definitely the best upgrade for the Munificent, especially if you're going light on the upgrades. And so, we're also going to go with the Gazanti next, and this guy we're going to do some fun stuff on this one. Let's do our ion cannon first. I'm going to put the heavy ion emplacements on here. We got to drain some shields on the Gazanti, and the fun thing is, I want this also to work even if Kraken or maybe I don't have another ship nearby, or if I lose something, I want to make sure that this guy's going to work. And so I've got this really cool thought of running weapons battery techs on this one. It's an upgrade you don't see very often, but I just thought, if I only get that one die and I roll an accuracy, it's not going to do anything. But now I can change it to a critical, trigger heavy ion emplacements. Means I have a 50-50 shot naturally of doing that. And then the cool thing also is that if I have 2 shots, if I double arc, I can drain your shields, and maybe I get a crit through on the next one. Maybe I don't have to use Kraken on that first shot. Maybe I can use it on the second shot, so I can get multiple crits through with this guy, which is really cool. Or if I'm shooting into somebody who has an evade and I need to concentrate fire, and then I have a pretty good chance of getting 2 criticals. So this way, even if you were to cancel one, I can kind of force that heavy ion emplacements through, and that's part of the strategy. So we kind of want to get our blue crits on this one, but not all heavy ion emplacements, as is common for a lot of blue criticals. We're also trying to get overload pulse here, and then we're trying to get red criticals in here with these guys as well, or doubles. We're kind of fishing for the extra damage once we get the shields down and the defense tokens down. So we're trying to basically drain our opponent's big ships by draining their defense tokens, by draining their shields, and then we have some squadrons that can still do a lot of damage. Again, those vultures can roll red dice. Those can be incredibly nasty to somebody who doesn't have a brace, and you end up getting a double on it. General Grievous will be absolutely devastating to an enemy flagship that has had its shields drained and has all of its defense tokens exhausted by overload pulse. And then, of course, DIS T81 is just good all around in all situations. So I think it's just a kind of an all-comers type of list. Now, I do want to also talk a little bit about our objectives, but before I do the objectives, I want to announce something. We have been doing a big lightsaber giveaway. And I said that was running through New Year's, and as you know, I do typically announce winners towards the end of my videos, and so I decided I'm going to announce it today. Our winner, you just had to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. Today's winner is going to be James Roberts. Congratulations, James! You're the proud winner of a lightsaber in the form of a $200 Amazon gift card giveaway. So go ahead and shoot me an email at mailcrabbok@gmail.com, and we'll get you squared away. So again, if you did not win, don't worry. There's plenty more giveaways that happen all the time. So stay tuned for more of those. And to enter to win any of those, you just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment. All right, so let's talk about the objectives here. I decided for our red objectives, we were going to go with Most Wanted. Most Wanted is going to work because we have a real cheap ship. It's at least, Most Wanted is not ideal for Separatists, but one of the things that it is going to do is going to give you an extra die when you're attacking your the other flagship, which is just even more chances to get those blue crits in, and it just allows for really big attack pools, especially if you're able to get overload pulse triggered on the objective ship, and then all of a sudden you've got lots of follow-up shots, all with extra dice to a ship that basically can't spend any defense tokens unless it wants to lose them for the whole game. So I really like Most Wanted here, and you can get lots. It's a way to get you like 100 extra victory points by only risking 27 for your Gazanti. And this is maybe a case where you just play the Gazanti very defensively and you kind of lure the opponent to come after it. It's a lot of reward for very low risk. For defense, I'm going to go with Hyperspace Assault. This is just a really fun objective that doesn't get played enough, and I think it's super cool. It allows you to kind of set aside, in this case, you would probably want to set aside the Munificent and a couple of Squadrons and be able to kind of drop them down mid-game. And the beauty of, or like one of the pitfalls of Hyperspace Assault is, you're second player, so you're not going first. But in this case, you're dropping a red dice ship, and so you just want to, you can set it up kind of at safety and not have to worry about dropping it at close range of somebody else and then them trying to move it out of the way. You can drop it maybe in front of somebody, then they have to come to you. I just think Hyperspace Assault is one of the most fun objectives in the game, and I think it's a good kind of intermediate or even newcomer objective, because you also get to drop those Squadrons too, and then you can say like, oh well, here's the option that Grievous is going to go for. I know I'm going to be able to have a Providence shot on this guy this turn, so here's what I want Grievous to be like in range of that. Then you can drop the Munificent, queue up a Squadron command, and it's perfect for it because it's got 3 Squadrons. You get to drop 3 Squadrons. It's just a beautiful thing. So I like that a lot. And for navigation, I'm going to go with an oldie but a goodie, Dangerous Territory. This one doesn't get taken as much because of the fact that, a lot of times you'll go up against rebels who are using Jaina's Light on a CR90. Almost every rebel list I run into has at least a CR90 with Jaina's Light in it. And that kind of, it's not a hard counter to this list, but it's like a rebel player with Jaina's Light is like absolutely going to take this because it allows them to kind of say, all right, I can kind of negate much of your advantage this way. But outside of that, for every other case, it's still a good objective. It means also that, again, these big ships, like we're running a large and a medium here. It means that we don't have to worry about hitting rocks. My flotilla doesn't have to worry about bumping into a rock and taking damage. And it also allows me to kind of have an idea of where the battle is going to take place, because those those obstacles are going to have objective tokens on them. We want to move in there and take them out. And since so much of this list, what it wants to do, depends on where the Providence is able to kind of go first and get that shot, it allows us to kind of maybe set up for a possible pincer maneuver or something like that. It allows us to set up the other ships in a way that they're going to be protected, and let the Providence kind of be the arrowhead or the spearhead of the formation, and kind of pointed towards the bulk of the different asteroids and debris clouds and stuff like that. So that's the list, everybody. Let me know what you think. I will, I think it's great to jump in the Discord and talk some more about list ideas, and if you have lists that you want to share, you can do that there. But that's just one of the things that I like to do from time to time is hop on Ryan Kingston's and build some fleets. It's a super fun thing to do, and hopefully you're going to be playing some more Armada soon as we move into 2023. Hopefully we'll get some great Armada news, and of course I'll be bringing to you all the latest as it comes out. So stay tuned, like the video, share the video, all that good stuff. Huge thanks to my my Patreons. You guys are amazing and help make this whole channel possible. Thank you for your continued support. I will talk to you later. May the force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. Have a great day. And Hakuna Matata.